What's good, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. I am your host, Leon Jones. It is Sunday, August 21st, 2016. You can catch me on Blog Talk Radio every Saturday from 12 to 2. That's Blog Talk Radio / 411 Talk Zone radio show. Like for you all to like, share, and subscribe to the 411 Talk Zone radio channel so I can continue to bring you the best educational content. Call-in number to my Blog Talk radio show is 215-383-5785. If you have a topic or business that you would like me to advertise and put on YouTube and on my Blog Talk radio show, you can email me at lej6521@gmail.com. When you leave a comment or topic, please keep it pithy. No bloviating. If you wish to opine. Got to send out a wonderful shout out to Brother B-Hack, who always comments on my videos. He's the first one that sent business to my Gmail account. I'm going to advertise it right now. The name of his business is called Tax People LLC. It's in North Carolina. Brother B-Hack. If you have a website address, please submit that to me so I can put the information out so potential customers will know where to find you. But now let's get into the topic. And this is probably going to be a 3-part series. As you know, it takes work to do what we do, particularly at the League of Dads and in the Manosphere. The name of this topic is called 21 Harsh Truths That Black People Don't Want to Hear. Now, I got a lot of this information, and I'll submit the link when I published a video. It was from Diary of Fan Egress. Put a little bit of my own thought into it. So I'm going to go down each law or each reason, and I'm going to be as elaborate as I can. But when I post the link, you all can go and look it up. Now, the first rule, and this is absolutely true, as far as black people, our own jealousies, competitiveness, infighting, unwillingness to support one another, and pettiness with other black people is what's keeping us from moving forward. And I'll give you an example of that. You look on YouTube. All this envy, jealousy, and we're going back and forth at one another, basically over something petty. And it's causing us not to move forward, and it's going to continue unless we be adult enough to understand that this is a problem and we're able to solve it. It's not going to be overnight. We already know it is out there. But we need to educate ourselves on solving the problem. I have my solution, but I'd like to hear some of your comments. Okay, number 2. We never learn from history because we believe that white people can change. Things are getting better. God will help us if we just pray and do nothing to help ourselves. Just because we lack the capacity for evil, others lack it too. It's absolutely erroneous. That was a very intrinsic statement, and we do believe that God is going to help us get through our ills. That is fine, but I always believe this when it comes to Christianity or any faith. I have faith. I believe in God. But also I have to put faith in myself to be able to move forward to get the resources to solve this issue. Number 3, and this is a true statement as well, and it deals with materials. Having the latest gadget like a 50-inch flat screen TV for showing off is more important than building stronger communities. I agree with that. That's called having status. And this is why we'll end up getting that television stolen, or there's going to be a lot of envy and jealousy because the person who doesn't have it is going to have the "you think you're better than me" syndrome. Number 4, Eurocentric education is by far the worst thing that could have happened to us. Well, if you look at everything regarding education, it is done for white people, by white people, for their cause. Because if you look at the workforce, they still play games with hiring us. They always want to make it very difficult for us to get in the workplace. And for education, look at our degrees. We have degrees, we have a lot of debt. And the education that we've been taught by Eurocentrics has been indoctrination. A lot of history is omitted. And until we had social media and the internet, I didn't know a lot of this information existed because we weren't told. Number 5, no matter how big your house is, how fancy your car, and how expensive your jewelry is, whites are never going to be impressed with what I have, or they won't respect us anyway. To them, we're just another nigger to them. That's right. So you can wear a suit, you can go out with your pants sagging, you can talk proper, or you can talk ghetto. They always have this idea, and this is white supremacy, that one size fits all, and we don't deserve to be in their club. We don't deserve to enjoy the lifestyle that they have. Number 6, when we treat each other like garbage, we're not getting any brownie points or favors with white people. That's what they want us to do. They're keeping us ignorant. Number 7, it's a big one. All the murders in Chicago. All the shootings in Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore. Well, we kill each other because we can't kill the enemy. That's true. We make each other our own enemy, but the real enemy is white supremacy. The reason why we can't kill white supremacy or kill whites, we don't have enough resources. And number 2, we don't have enough people. Remember, we only make up 13% of the country. So we're outmanned and outgunned. Now, the only way we can actually combat it, again, is to build our own businesses in a community and not utilize Walmart or Target to buy their products. We create our own products, our own media. Number 8, like most black people, especially those who are African, they don't want anything to do with us because they're ashamed of our behavior based on stereotypes. Again, we don't have media. Media is controlled by the Jews. Since we don't have our own media, everything goes out the door by way of white media. That's all the alphabet channels, the BBC, Fox News. Yeah, we have TV One. BET used to be black, sold to Viacom. Number 9, the reason why we fight each other is because we hate ourselves. That's a point well taken. I believe we do hate ourselves. This is why we try to get hair like white women, bleach our skin like white women and white men. And some of us try to act like we're white, thinking that's going to make us polished. Doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, we're still black. Number 10, we're trying to identify with white people. And I've heard many videos out. We can't identify with white people, but we can't identify with ourselves either, because during the slavery time, our language, our culture was stripped from us. So right now, the only thing we know is what white people have indoctrinated into us as far as education and language is concerned. Number 11, I don't believe that this is true, but all black people are mentally ill. No. We have a number of them that do have problems, but we fail to realize that because we believe that being mentally ill and having emotional disorders is white. No. We could actually go out there and get help as well, because we need help. We need counseling. But again, that could be a business that would be set up by a black psychologist, because only they know us as being black because they're black themselves. If you look at a lot of our education, you have a lot of white teachers teaching black students. They don't understand us. Another black would understand another black because they're black just like me, and I'm black just like them, and we could relate. We have the same culture. Now, I'm not saying that that person who looks like me is my brother or sister, but that person can be an ally as long as we know how to correspond with one another. Number 12, and this gets into the swirling. Black men who hate black women hate themselves. Yes and no. Yes and no. I believe that we come from a black woman. That's true. But the only way I can really hate myself is when I'm constantly told that I can't produce, that I'm ignorant, and I start believing it. But as long as I'm confident with what I do and how I speak, regardless of what anybody says, no, I don't hate myself. I just hate the system out here. But the way to combat the system is to get educated and read. And you have to go underground for your education. A lot of this information that I'm getting out is free. Well, you don't have to go to a college. But hating a black woman doesn't mean I hate myself. But having disdain for my own people to solidify white people, that's what I'm doing. I am validating white supremacy. I love my black women, but I won't hate myself. When it comes to the modern day black woman, you have a number of them who have bad attitudes. I don't like the attitude, but you have white women over there, and that's going to come up when I counterbalance this argument with the 21 truths about white people. Like I said, this is fair and balanced like Fox News channel. Okay, number 13. Black women who hate black men have no self-respect. Again, I don't agree with that. I'm going to put my spin on it. Self-respect comes from within how you present yourself. Liking black men is a preference. But again, now, if you're one of these swirlers out there and you think the white man is better, and you utilize that as an achievement to throw it in the black man's face, it's not that you're disrespecting yourself, you're disrespecting the black man. It's just like the black man, number 12 that I discussed. If we go out and swirl with a white woman and we put her in a queendomship, we don't hate black women. We're just disrespecting them. In other words, with 12 and 13, allow us to have a presence or a preface. If your preference is white, okay, I can understand. But remember, if you appropriate, a child's still going to have black in it, regardless of who you marry. Because the black seed dominates. And that's a fact. Number 14, and this is basically systematic. The fact that our children are being used as a paycheck is our fault because we haven't educated them to be respectful people. Really, that comes from a breakdown in the social structure of the family, the welfare state. And this is going to be surprising. I don't blame every black woman who is on welfare for being on the welfare state. Not this generation. I blame the last generations. Yes, I blame the last generations. Because they agreed that being on welfare is better than having a family. Yeah, I know some of these modern day women, we call them ratchet, and some of them are ratchet. And some black men are ratchet as well. But if you think about it, the welfare state has been a cycle. And the cycle is going to continue if we don't educate ourselves. I mean, I think everybody who has an idea of what's going on in the real world, we need to be truthful about ourselves and stop denying that we have problems. We have issues. We can't get help. We can get help. We think we can. We can get educated. We need to do a little bit more reading because I certainly don't want the white man doing a reading for us because if you look at it now, the education system, like I said before, it's more of an indoctrination instead of an education, and there's information that has been omitted. So we wouldn't know where we came from. And we have to learn our identity. And that comes from learning the history. Number 15, the black church is the white man's effective weapon. I always agree that religion, although it's intrinsic and spiritual, faith is good, but religion can also be utilized to control the people. And if you have the churches that are controlling the masses, you can create a God yourself, like white Jesus, because Jesus was not white, but we worship white Jesus. Well, that was indoctrinated into us during slavery time to keep us at bay. Now you look at the black church today, not saying all of them, but a number of them have been failures. This is why I don't go. Do I go to Bible study? I do read the Bible. There's good information in that Bible. But the problem with the church is it's preaching to agendas. It's really not preaching the word that it should be preaching. It should be preaching family, structure, hierarchy. It's not doing that. Instead, you go in there, you pay your money, you come out poor, you go in poor. Not saying church is not a good institution. It is. But it just seems like today, in the culture, it's being used more as a business instead of an institution of teaching. Number 16, we latch on to other people's struggles as a way to get them to accept us. No matter what everybody else has done, and I'll give you the big struggle, the Holocaust. The Jews don't look out for us, but they did get their reparations. And the funny thing about the Jews, a lot of the media, a lot of the record companies in the United States are owned by Jews. But have they come back to get us? To bring us along with them? Hell no. It's never going to happen. Number 17. Whites despise us with a blinding passion because they need something that we have. And this is an absolutely true one. Strap your seatbelt on to this one. And when I combat it with what whites don't want to hear, you know what whites don't have? They don't have our beauty. See, what's happened, black people? They've gotten us to hate ourselves. And one of the reasons why I believe they did what they did to the black woman, because the black woman is pretty. His woman is not pretty, and they know it. I don't care how much cosmetic surgery you put on a white woman. They still look like they are decomposing as they get older. Their women will never be as pretty as ours. That's why they have all these height and weight standards. See, our women, they can be 200, 300, 400 pounds with a nice shape and look good. Their women can't. They want our melanin. As they say, black doesn't crack, and that is absolutely correct. Number 18, we're still waiting to be told on how to fix the problems with no name because we are too passive and complacent to figure it out. Now, we know what the problem is. But I do believe we're complacent and we want to maintain our victimization. And it also gives the white prospective elected officials an issue to run on every 4 years during an election, particularly in the Democratic Party. And Democrats need the black vote to maintain their power in the Senate, the presidency, and in the Congress. Number 19, marrying, dating, and sleeping with a white person will never change the color of your skin. Well, that's true. And we will never gain access into the white club because of the color of our skin. And guess what? We're still going to be, to them, a dirty nigger. So no matter what we do with whites, even if we have the same education, make the same money, they try to put that inferiority complex on us, that we're beneath them. That's to make themselves feel powerful. Number 20. I believe if white people had a chance, the ones in power, today or tomorrow, they would bring back slavery with a vengeance. I already believe it's here with the system that we have. The child support system that locks black men up. Felonies. They find any little thing to put us in jail. Any credit. Work release programs. Anything. That's modern day slavery. And there's institutional racism, where we're denied a job because of what I just mentioned, a felony, credit. We're denied bank loans. So in essence, it is modern day slavery. They just don't have the physical whips and chains. But nevertheless, we're made to feel inferior. The last one, we have no friends and allies on the planet. That's a yes or no. Now, I believe as an individual black person, I have associates of other races. But I believe what that statement is saying, when you know what hits the fan, we're on our own. But we've always been on our own, particularly as black men. because we have nowhere to run or nowhere to hide. So I'm just urging each and every one of you, just listen to the content that I just mentioned, learn something from it, and don't get emotional about it. We already know what the problem is, but we have to want to fix it. If we don't fix it, let's teach the next generation. They'll fix it. Because I believe the past generations, we've been indoctrinated so much that it's going to be very difficult to lift layers and layers and layers of oppression that we've suffered. And this is from my grandmother to my mother and down to me. Now our children have a chance, but we have to mentor our children. But in order for us to change our children, we have to be able to make changes as well. We can't always feel like victims. I know it's a difficult task. That's reality. But we also have to accept the reality too. And too many of us as black people, we've been living in fantasy. No matter how much money we have, how much education we have, at the end of the day, we're still black people. And in the white man's eyes, we're still niggers. And we're still getting jobs from him instead of building our own. A community can only be built with our men leading and being collective. And our women, they're going to lead in the administration and the facilitation of the infrastructure. There has to be balance between our men and women, and we can't hate each other. And that's what white man wants. That's white supremacy right there. He's teaching us by dividing and conquering us. And that's how you control the masses and utilizing it with religion. I'd like to thank you for listening to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show on YouTube. My name is Leon Jones. Just remember to be blessed for what you have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Always remember, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Be good to one another, and I'll be back with some more educational content on the 401 Talk Zone radio show on YouTube. I'm out.